Hey guys, I'm Matt. Welcome to my yard, outdoors, whatever. This week I'm going to be burying a water line and a low voltage line. I'm going to be sending some water and power right out here by my sign. So I'm going to put a yard hydrant right about here, and I'm going to do some spotlights out in front that are going to light this at night with 12 volt low voltage lighting. And I also need that power for an upcoming project where I'm going to be using water to deter deer from our fruit trees out here. So I've already called locate. I did it about a month and a half ago, so the white line along my driveway has disappeared, but there are no utilities here, no power, no phone, no sewer, no gas, anything like that. However, the water utility does not do locate here. I happen to know that the water supply from my house goes across the yard there, so I'm not concerned about that, but I am concerned right here. I've marked an asterisk. There's a water line that comes out here to this well right here that supplies this yard hydrant. And as I'm sighting down this line, I think it's right where I put that asterisk. So I actually believe I'm gonna hit that. So I've tested my water shut off down at the street just to make sure that does shut the water off, and it does. So I'm gonna run a trench up to this point, and I'm gonna stop where my white lines are and leave this for the very last, then I'll shut the water off and bulldoze through that line. I found a small independent equipment rental guy on Facebook Marketplace and managed to rent this trencher for 130 bucks for the day. So pretty good deal, I think. Let's get this thing off the trailer and get to work. All right, well, I didn't hit the water line, which is good and not good. I fully expect to. I do have the trench dug all the way to the shop and all the way out to the sign. The only section I haven't dug is this one little spot here where I'm sure that the water line exists. And then there's a chunk of concrete down there that I don't know, I couldn't get out. It must have been an old post or something. So I'm gonna go throw the pallet forks on the tractor and see if I can edge that piece of concrete out. I don't want to break any teeth off of the ditch witch. got the water turned off, made sure there was nothing flowing out of the hydrant. We're ready to dig this last little section here and see if we can hit a water blind. A nifty little tunnel there. Ugh, what a muddy mess. That's what springtime's like here. So in my ditch I have my 3/4 inch PEX A right here and my 10 gauge low voltage lighting cable. I've got a tunnel dug in there, so basically these are both going to run into that big hole over there. I'm going to fill that with gravel. That's where the yard hydrant's going to go, and then I'm going to put some conduit in a junction box on the post right there for my low voltage. Then I'll come back out with the low voltage wiring with 2 lines in this ditch and come out to my 2 spotlights right here. I'm going to go grab those spotlights and see what their wiring looks like, just to make sure I don't back myself into a corner here. Well, I think that's it for this rainy day. I chose probably one of the worst days to do this kind of work, but I don't know. When the weather's good, I got to be out in the woods working, so I guess this just is what it is. I don't mind too much. At least it's not terribly cold out. All right, we're gonna fast forward in time nearly a month here. I haven't done anything for about a month on this project, but I'm gonna kind of bring you guys up to speed about where we're at with it and how things sort of unfolded. So obviously where I put the trench, everything's grown back. You can't see it was ever there. All the grass has grown out there by the Verley sign, and the yard hydrant's in place there. Where I trenched from my shop, I got the yard hydrant installed over there. The yard hydrant's there, And for my low voltage conduit, obviously the low voltage line and the PEX both came in the same trench. I just ran that up this conduit, and it's just coiled up inside the shop right there. That hole was already there from some kind of drain bucket that the previous owner had in there, so utilize that existing hole. The wire's just loose inside the shop there. Now when I reviewed my video footage, I realized that I never followed up on this. So my trench was through here. I expected to hit the water line right about here. I did not. I ran the trencher at its full depth, so 3 feet deep, and I went back and forth a couple times, never hit the water line. And since I didn't know exactly where it was, I just kind of gave up on hitting it. I wanted to, because that's where I was going to tap into things. So I ran the trencher across the driveway right here over to where I knew these two wells were, and what I assumed supplied water to this yard hydrant. So I dug a hole here, and what I found really surprised me. It's finished now, but I found a 2-inch PVC here. I was really surprised to find 2-inch PVC plus some communication lines plus a locate wire, and I was concerned that this isn't what I thought it was. And so the project kind of stalled while I thought about what it is that I wanted to do. And the other day I finally dug this yard hydrant up to see, and sure enough, this 2-inch PVC line is just supplying this yard hydrant, nothing else. I was just kind of second guessing myself, because I just didn't expect to see a 2-inch line supplying this yard hydrant. The only thing I can think of is the person that built this place expected to build a barn here or something like that, and needed a greater volume of water than something smaller would have provided. So anyway, once I understood that this 2-inch PVC was okay to tap into, and that it was mine, and that I wasn't going to be cutting into neighborhood water or something, I went ahead and cut it. And I was going to film that last night, but when I started putting everything together, I realized that the slip coupling that I had was 1.5 inches and not 2-inch. So it got dark, and I didn't set the cameras up. But I did all this last night. I left it unburied this morning so I could make sure that there was no leaks or anything like that, and there isn't. It's working just fine. So I do have the system all pressurized right now. So I got water out of this hydrant, and this hydrant, and this hydrant. So now that I've had this pressurized overnight, I don't have any kind of leaks or anything like that. The water part of this project is all done. I can fill in this ditch and these holes that I've dug, and then we can move on to the low voltage lighting.
Is your light like sideways? Mine does not look like that.
Does not look like. And then folded it down onto the threads, and I think that'll force the stud in the center to make contact with all that. Well, I've got my transformer set up there, and I just installed a Z-Wave smart plug right here. And this is temporary because I'm going to be installing another project box out at the sign itself with multiple relays to control some other devices, but at least for now this lets me do a dusk to dawn type routine for the lights. Let's go take a look at them. Now I still do have the solar backlighting on there, so there's a little bit of LED backlighting on the signs, but my spotlights were the project today. Alexa, turn on the Verley sign lights.
Okay.
All right, guys, it's dark. I'm a little tired. I think we're gonna wrap this project up here. Thanks for following along. We'll catch you on the next video.